Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comedian and host of Bachelor Recap, a guy's review. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend, everybody. I'm recording this on a Friday night. If you know what I've been up to, I'm moving to a new house today. So as you're watching this, I'm probably sweating, kicking a cardboard box down a hill or something. But anyway, so as you guys know, I take voicemails on Monday and Thursdays for my live streams. I do a Monday post-Bachelor live stream at 10 p.m. Pacific time, and then Thursday an afternoon one, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Well, I've had a massive surge in audience the last couple months, from 2,000 subscribers to 10,000, and then that doubled in a month to 20,000. So thank you guys so much for that. But because of this, I can't play nearly the amount of voicemails that I get from all of you. So I thought this weekend and maybe future weekends, I would just play all of the voicemails I wasn't able to get to. Bachelor Nation is a vast demographic of people, from Texas to Portland, Oregon, to Australia, to South Africa. We have audience in Zimbabwe, to Ireland, from the northern shores of Nova Scotia all the way to Brazil. They really are all over the place. For international people, if you want, I've got a WhatsApp in the description. And then if you're local, I've got a voicemail number, 401-213-9828. I lose my eyesight there. And you guys can call in, and I will listen to your voicemail. Keep it short and to the point. I would appreciate that. But these are the voicemails from this week that I wasn't able to get to. Now, I have to remind you, by playing these voicemails, I do not endorse or necessarily condone what people's are saying or their point of view is. This is a sample of Bachelor Nation, where they're thinking. There's a lot of chatter about Rachel Kirkconnell. Rachel Kirkconnell. There's a lot of chatter about Rachel Lindsay, Chris Harrison, a lot of points of views on the topics. I'm going to play all of them, and I'll give my my brief response to each of them. So let's go all the way back to Tuesday. These are the voicemails from the last 5 days.
Hi there. It's Barbara calling from Wisconsin. I just want to let you know that if Rachel ends up being the host for The Bachelor, I will no longer be watching, as I don't like her. Bye-bye.
Barbara from Wisconsin didn't give a reason why you don't like Rachel, but thank you very much for your call. It looks like Rachel Lindsay doesn't want the job. I don't think that's a big concern to have, but it looks like she's a little sad that Chris Harrison might be out the door. Let's go to Cheryl from Santa Clarita.
Hey, Dave. It's Cheryl from Santa Clarita. Hey, flick it or ticket, hashtag. Hilarious. Anyway, on to The Bachelor. I'm so happy that Serena is gone, because she wasn't into him anyway, and you could tell that from so many episodes back. She just didn't have it for him. Now, Bree will be next. She's beautiful, but she's got to go. Her date was horrible. And the last two should be Michelle and Rachel. Rachel's cute. I'm not a fan of hers, given the circumstances. But everybody needs a second chance, I guess. I just want Matt to be with Michelle. I mean, they dressed alike. Same colors. Come on. That has to mean something, right? They met each other for the first time and felt like they've known each other forever. Come on. That has to mean something, right? All right. Flick the bean. Gotta go. Bye.
Flick the bean. Sorry, I'm just catching up here, trying to get everyone's graphics. There's Michelle. We've got all the finalists now for people that will be calling about them. Thank you so much for that phone call there, telling us to go flick the bean. I appreciate that. And it looks like my phone may... oh, there we go. Geez, for a second there, I lost it. That would have been a long episode. Here we go to Elizabeth calling from Michigan.
This is Elizabeth Wallace calling from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Hi.
I just think this whole ordeal about Chris leaving The Bachelor is nonsense. I will not watch. It makes me sad. I've cried many tears, and oh my gosh, I am just so frustrated. I'm looking forward to watching you, Neal. I just love you. You are the best. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words, and also I'm sorry that you're crying that Chris Harrison may no longer be hosting The Bachelor. I understand people build an emotional relation. They see someone as the dad they always wanted, never had, and look, let's wait and see how it all plays out. Okay, maybe Chris Harrison takes some time away, and maybe they restructure things, and he comes back maybe in a better role. Maybe he's in a more of an advisor, fatherly role. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to see how it goes. But thank you so much for your phone call.
Hello there, my name is Roberto. I'm from Puerto Rico. I simply wanted to express the fact that being very hard with Rachel K. I mean, like, whoa. If they take videos of pictures from me when I was in high school or things like that, I'd be ashamed. I'd be totally embarrassed about my behavior. Things change, people change. And they're accusing her of being racist, and she was pretending a black man. That says that she has changed. Anyway, keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Roberto calling in from Puerto Rico. And he basically said if they had pictures of him from his high school, he'd be embarrassed and ashamed. And that leads to the whole point. Like, let the person who has not sinned cast the first stone. I think that's how it goes, right? My Christian friends out there. Look, it doesn't mean we should appreciate. It doesn't mean we shouldn't hold people accountable. It just means, this is going to be we're just on the crest of a lot of issues with people who have sort of social media footprints from their youth. Roberto didn't have that growing up. He was able to learn his lessons in the serenity and peace of not being in the public eye. All right, let's go to Virginia.
Hi, Dave. This is V
Hi.
from Fairfax, Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C. First, I want to thank you so much for hosting this. This is exactly how you start basically
Oh, did we lose you? I think we might have lost you there. Oh, looks like we lost you. No worries. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry about that. We cut her off. Let's
Hi, Dave. This is V, and I'm so sorry. I have no clue what happened
don't apologize.
before, and I apologize. But I wanted to
No
thank
worries.
you so much for hosting this, because this is exactly how you dissuade or start mitigating systemic racism. You start with conversation, and it's really good that you are offering an open platform for this. And I also want to say that I feel terrible for Matt James, because in all of this process, it's his season that's getting messed up. We finally have a black male lead, and in all of this, we're talking about Chris Harrison and who's going to be hosting what, when, and where, and how, and we're talking about another white woman having implicit bias, and we're just continuing to have to teach instead of just getting to enjoy like a moment of time where something good is finally happening. And hopefully in the future we will see more of men and women of different groups come, and we won't have all of this craziness behind it, so you can just enjoy people's love. Thank you.
That was V from Virginia. I love V from Virginia. What a great alliteration that is there. No, you're absolutely right. It's like having family drama. You just want to be at the barbecue, enjoying the family, but we're still a family that's feuding, and that's how it is. And I agree with you that conversation will help us all kind of see that we're all more common than the differences that we would think that we have. So thank you so much for calling. Grace from Washington, D.C.
Hey, Dave. It's Grace from D.C., Washington, District of Columbia.
Woo.
Excited to be calling in tonight. I noticed something about the episode from last week, in particular, Rachel's hometown. Actually, I noticed it in the preview that they released on Instagram a few hours before the actual episode. They included a clip that caught my eye, and I was looking out for it in the episode, and they didn't actually include it in the episode. But it's Matt sitting next to Rachel's father, and he says very defensively, in a very defensive tone, I would ask her if I'm ready to be married to your daughter, but I'm not there yet. I'm not ready for it. And while we did see in the episode Rachel commenting on, I hope that my father gives his approval. And then after, they did have a brief clip of Matt explaining why he didn't ask for the approval. But they didn't actually show the clip in the question and the way that her father was reacting to it. And I think that could be because of a couple reasons. One, simply, it was much easier for the editors as far as time to just include Matt's brief statement, and then Rachel's statement as well. too, and this is what I was thinking, basically until your video you just did earlier today, is that, maybe the line of questioning that Rachel's father provided leading up to that didn't necessarily put him in the best light, made him seem like he was a real traditional, he's really stuck on this point. And they just wanted to not include it to kind of make the flow seem a little bit better and be able to wrap up her hometown on a somewhat positive note. Or they could be saving that footage not to play in last week's episode, but to play in a future episode if they flash back to that conversation, perhaps before or around the time that Matt reaches out to potentially Rachel's father, like you said, he would call them on the phone. And if some of the reporting that you referenced before, and again, this I think is a little bit of a spoiler, if Rachel leaves with a promise ring, could it have been because her dad didn't fully give that approval? I don't know. What do you think? Appreciate everything that you do. You've been getting me through this week, and I'm excited to hear it on the live stream tonight. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks so much, Grace from Washington, D.C. And Grace, I apologize I wasn't able to get to all these voicemails. On the Thursday live stream, Rachel Kirkconnell released her Instagram statement, so we all watched that, and that changed the course of the conversation during that live stream. So I wasn't able to get to your question, so I do apologize. Very good detective work there. The promos don't always line up with what actually happens. Sometimes it's because the promo has a good soundbite, but nothing comes of it. And then other times, maybe we just haven't seen it yet. It's another reason why they're tweaking a lot of the behind-the-scenes production to make it more diverse, because we don't know who's editing the show. We don't know what their storyline is or what message they're trying to get across. And it's like a block of ice. You're carving it into a sculpture, and they can choose which storylines they want to air. And as we know, as a previous caller had mentioned, we didn't get to know it as much about Matt James as we would have loved. There was so much petty drama. They decided to play out all the drama with Queen Victoria and all this nonsense when there's really good storylines that we just never got to know. And that's all because of editing. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that and see how it all goes as far as if that storyline plays out. And a good point that maybe Rachel's dad just came off looking bad and they didn't want to show that.
Lindsay is nothing but...
Oh, here we are. We've got Karen back from Texas. All right. I wasn't ready for this. Here's Karen from Texas.
Rachel, Lindsay.
You cut the crap.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
You cut the crap. You cut the crap.
That's who we're talking to. Karen from Texas. My favorite aunt, Karen from Texas.
Rachel Lindsay is nothing but a troublemaker. That's all she does is sit on there. Everybody knows that. But, when everybody's trying to, just kiss their butt or whatever. And you're doing the same thing. This girl that Rachel Kirkconnell, whatever her name is, she's so racist. Why she's trying to marry a black man? Get over it.
I love that when you end it, you always go like,
you cut the crap.
You cut the crap. Get over it. You have really good sound bites. I appreciate you for that, Karen. Look, I think you could marry a black man and still be racist. I don't like that line of argument. And I would disagree with you, and I do appreciate your opinion, but I would disagree with you that I'm sort of flaming the fires with this whole scenario. We're just shining a light back in like a mirror back onto the ugly stain that exists in our country. And it might exist in other countries, but this is where we live, and this is what we want to make the best that it can be. And while the U.S. has that potential, we're not there. We're not there when people can't walk down the street and worry if a cop drives by that they're going to get, harassed or stopped and frisked in New York City. You know what I mean? Like, we're just not there, Karen from Texas. And because of that, I don't think it's a bad thing to have these conversations and want better. I think that's what it comes down to with Rachel Lindsay, right? She wants better. She knows what the potential is. She knows where the bar can be set, and she doesn't see it there yet. And I think we need more people like her and not just saying that she's causing trouble. I think that really boils down a much greater issue, and I think she's doing a great job with it. Next caller, New York City.
Hi, I'm a black woman calling from New York City, and I just am watching the episode of you pretty much playing Karen from Texas. I
know.
She is literally one of the most ignorant people I've ever heard. And I've only listened to 30 seconds. And it's so sad that she says, you don't hear the native Indian, when they're Native Americans, I'm so sorry. She can't even.
It's
the fact that she says that you don't hear them crying about it. It's because they were pretty much went extinct. There's like not any more left to really cry about it.
Yeah, it was genocide.
That's why. Because, people like Karen, her ancestors who, yeah, we get it. We did bad things to black people. Get over it. Her ancestors pretty much wiped out most of the Native Americans. So that's why they can't cry about it, because there's none to really cry. So take that, Karen from Texas. You're a cunt.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Watch out for that language.
You cut the crap.
Wow, I didn't know how. So I read the text, the voicemails as they're sent to me, so I can kind of follow along. But it's Google voice to text. So it ended with it saying It didn't say the swear word. I didn't know what that was. But hey, look, freedom of speech, right, folks? Freedom of speech. Listen, I do want to say. I did get like 15 voicemails from Karen in Texas, and I'm not airing her voicemails to embarrass her. This exists. She's not a 1% of like a wild way of thinking. It very much exists, that way of thinking, and maybe it'll change generationally. I don't know how old Karen is. Maybe she was just isolated and lives in a small town, and she thinks, she doesn't see color or this or that. And I want Karen to know, and for the people that might think like Karen, I want you to know, I don't think you're a bad person. I think you're misinformed, and I don't think you're up to the times with your education about it all. So I'm willing to play your voicemail, because we know when we listen to it, we go, oh my gosh, why did she bring the natives into this? What is she talking about? Like, we understand, like our friend here in New York City, because in New York City, you bump elbows with people that speak there's 20 different languages going on. You're going through Chinatown and Harlem, the Dominican neighborhood. You've got it all. You've got all mixing grounds in New York City. I lived on 140th and Broadway. It was a heavily populated Dominican neighborhood, and then the Puerto Rican neighborhood was nice. And you get to meet people, and you go, they're just like me. They're happy on a Friday because they got their paycheck. They're this. They're dancing. I mean, everyone. We're so. As a species, humans, we really are like so similar, and people like Karen think that because of that, it's everything's hunky-dory and everything's fine. We've been divided by the little differences that we have, and what we're doing is progress. We're working forward to make a world where everyone feels that love that I feel, and I know a lot of you feel for your brothers and sisters. That doesn't exist everywhere. There's implicit bias in like racism that's ingrained into our world, and it's there. And if we aren't going to acknowledge that it's there, Karen, we can't fix it if we don't see the problem. So Karen, we're not out to get you. We're not out to get Karen. Next voicemail.
Hey, Dave, this is Black Woman from New York. I just smoked a joint, and I've had the most brilliant idea. I think we should create a reality TV show where we take, people who have been canceled, but, justly so, such as Rachel Kirkconnell and Chris Harrison, and put them in a reality TV show where we flop them in Black culture. And basically for like 8 to 6 weeks, they have to be surrounded by Black people and like live in Black culture and believe like a Black person. And then at the end, rather than like you get your final rose, we'll see if you get invited to the barbecue.
That's
if
great.
You like the idea, totally tell me, and we'll pitch it to ABC. I'm totally down.
Okay.
And split the profits.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah,
Bye.
and you just get to see if you get invited to the barbecue.
You cut the crap.
I think that's a great idea. Anyone like that? Leave a comment. Anyone who would watch that show? What network would it be on? That's the question. Mitch from Chicago.
This is Mish. I'm calling from Chicago regarding Rachel Kirkconnell and her mom defending her. I think that's great that her mom is defending her, but also, too, Rachel got her behavior from her parents. Her being Hispanic has nothing to do with it. I've been around people and lived around Hispanics, and believe me, I ran into some racist Hispanics. So for her to say, oh, she's not racist because she's Hispanic, that's a bunch of crap.
I don't think she said that.
I think Rachel got caught. She didn't like Black people, and then all of a sudden she got fame on The Bachelor. and then she saw that a black man can be someone you can love and care about. But her past discretions that she used and racist comments, that comes from her heart, and it came from her parents. And believe me, trust and believe, that's the reason why she said what she said, took pictures, stand in front of flags, or whatever she did, that came from her parents. And her mama can say she supported Black Lives Matter. I knew a lot of white people that liked me, but then they may not like another black person. So I'm not trying to hear that. That's all I have to say. Bye.
Mish from Chicago. I love the energy that she comes in with. Mish from Chicago. Thank you so much. Yeah, look, of course, no, you should never validate that you're not racist by saying that you're not white. My family's Hispanic. I don't know if her mom was doing that, but you have a good point that racism and ingrained racism can come from your parents. It can come from your coach or your uncle or the sports team that you play on. I mean, we're sponges as we're growing up. It doesn't make an excuse for it all. But you're absolutely right that that you can have good parents. You can have parents that are God-fearing Christians, but there might be an undertone there. There might be something that they pass down to you. We all know most of what we do as adults is try to scrub off the imprints from our parents, right? That's what we're trying to do for the most part. But thank you so much for that phone call. I really appreciate it. That was Mish from Chicago. Let's go to Claire from Colorado.
Hey, Dave. It's Claire from Colorado. I was just calling because I, like yourself, am not from the South, and I was talking to my friend who is from the South about these kind of parties because I was like, it just seems like they're just wearing dresses. Maybe people are reading into it too much. And my friend knows people have gone to parties like this before. It's not the one that Rachel went to, but she said that sometimes these parties, there's a reason they're like underground and not a lot of the school because they can be incredibly racist. And it kind of, she was saying some really bad stuff about what happens at these parties from what she's heard from other people. And I was really kind of taken aback. I don't know if this is the kind of party that Rachel went to, but it just really changed my perspective on it. I think that she said a lot of these girls don't know how bad it is till they get there, and they just want to be invited to this like incredibly exclusive party. And I think that's probably what happened in Rachel's case. It's definitely wrong, but I would love if anybody knows what happens at these parties, if we could get a little insight, because I've never been to one of those before. So thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Claire from Colorado. Good point. We're talking about the Southern Belle party that Rachel Kirkconnell went to. Yeah, look, I'm sure she was more worried about what shoes she was going to wear and her hair and all this. And yeah, I mean, it's just an afterthought. It's not something that's being thought of much by the people that are attending. And as Rachel Lindsay had pointed out to Chris Harrison, she was like, well, what would I have represented at that party? So it could have been that the party she went to, yeah, they took a photo at a plantation and they went down to the beach like her mom said, but so much history was surrounding those. There's a reason they're banned. So like, how can you do a better job of not letting those photos look so bad? Is it not dressing that way? Is it, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but just like you, like from Colorado, I'm from Rhode Island. I know nothing about any of this. So it's very interesting to have this conversation and talk about it.
Okay, so we're further down into this episode. So you know how Rachel's mom pointed out the fact that when you she posted about Black Lives Matter. This is the thing. A lot of white people posted a Black Lives Matter and thought, oh, this pretty much makes up for the racism that ever happened, and this will fix everything. No, that's called performative activism. You just don't want to look bad. So you post a black square thinking, yeah, this will be okay. This will satisfy the fact that, innocent black people are shot and killed whenever and wherever. And yeah, black post. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Now this is what's good, because this is where we're educating each other with terms. Now you're saying by somebody who says they're for Black Lives Matter, I always called it slacktivism, which is, it's kind of like that keyboard warrior, like, oh, we're all gonna, yeah, rah, rah, rah. And it's like, well, what did you really do? So you call this performative activism, which is very interesting because Rachel Kirkconnell did address the fact that one of the reasons why she hasn't spoken up is that she was doing the work, but she didn't want it to be performative. I think what she actually showed in her video was that was more than performative to share your resources and what you're talking about. Performative is when you take a photo of matcha tea and put this in the background. That's performative. What Rachel, I think, Kirkconnell learned is that you're not going to please everybody, but certainly there needs to be more that's done than what you're calling is performative activism. Hey, thank you so much. I didn't know that word. Look, I don't like doing things that everyone does. When everyone posts a black square, I don't like to do. I'm a comic. I don't play by the rules. I want to do my own thing. So when I see that, I don't even think of it as like everyone supporting Black Lives Matter. I go, oh, am I being pressured into doing this when I could actually be in the streets, fighting for a change? Very interesting. Thank you so much for that. And again, I don't mean to say that as in I don't want to support my brothers and sisters, my friends, my family, of course I do. But I kind of see through that. It was there's an example from a few years ago when everyone was donating money to that to get rid of that African dictator. Do you remember that cause? It was I don't even remember the name of it. It was so stupid. And the whole cause, and I saw right through it, and it turned out to be a complete scam. But I just saw right through it. Maybe it's because I'm cynical, but I'm like, this isn't the solution. What do we do? Like, this isn't helping anyone. I'm not saying the case with the black square is not helping anyone. I think that is solidarity. But you're right with the performative activism that you say that it will give people the thought, whoop, did my part. I'll come back next year, and that's not helpful. Very nice. Thank you so much for the call. Let's go over here to Courtney in South Carolina.
Hi, Dave. It's Courtney from South Carolina. I live here now, but I was not raised here. And
I already played you. I played you earlier on the episode. Sorry, I'm going to pass you. I already played you. It was a repeat.
Hi, this is Terry Martin. I'm calling from Akron, Ohio.
Hi, Terry.
Here's my thought. You know what? Let them just finish out the season without everybody, saying what they want to say. And afterwards, if he picks her, he picks her. I mean, Matt's a big boy, and then they can talk to him afterwards. But this is getting ridiculous. I mean, come on. I mean, really, I don't get it. I mean, so many people, and they have those antebellum homes that people can go and visit, and they have times where you can go there, and the people that are there, the tour guides, they would dress up in that, for years and years and years. I mean, it wasn't something that they thought was racist when they were doing it. And things have changed. It's a new world we live in. Let them finish the season, and then if he chooses her because he is in love with her and she says yes to him and they go off in the sunset, then let them do get to know each other better off the show, and then they can do a full-fledged interview and talk about it when those two are together. That's my thought.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your comment. I don't know too much about the history of the or the economics behind the antebellum, like tours and all that. I don't know much about that. But I will say that, yes, by stretching the season out, as they've always done, with such a controversial issue, they're forcing us to all figure it out on our own. And so, by not hearing Rachel Kirkconnell's statement, by not hearing Matt's statement, all these different things, people probably weren't talking because it would reveal spoilers. And the model of this old school a new episode every week, it really can be damaging because as detectives, we're out there trying to figure it all out before we can let them talk. I totally understand what you're talking about there. Thanks for the phone call.
Hi, Dave. It's Stephanie from Los Angeles.
Hey, Stephanie.
I'm actually a new fan. I started watching your recap videos probably around week 4.
Oh, thank you.
And I would like to say that you have very interesting point of view in regards to the show. I think it's opened my mind and my heart to seeing the show from a different perspective. And I would agree to say I agree with everything you're saying. But most importantly, why I'm calling is because I think the whole racism problem we're having on this show, I think you've covered it so well. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. So I'm grateful that you're putting that out there. And I wish you the very best.
Have
Oh,
a good day.
geez. Thank you so much, Stephanie from Los Angeles. Hey, we're neighbors. You want to help me move? Please, I could use the hand. Thank you so much, Stephanie from Los Angeles, new audience member.
Hey Dave, this is Kelly from LA, and I'm calling about your Chelsea Handler remark about how actors say it like it is and admit when they're racist. But I've read many of Chelsea's books, and she's made fun of a lot of Asian, made remarks about Asians that are very, very racist. And I mean, while funny, I am Asian myself. You guys don't admit it, so it's not fully as open as you say it is. But I do appreciate the acknowledgement.
Oh, great. So what you're referring to is I played the conversation between Chelsea Handler and Emmanuel Acho. And you said actor, but I think you meant comedian, because the difference is an actor plays a role. So like a lot of times actors aren't as present. It's different with social media. Let me take that back. Comedians, you kind of you usually stand by what you say. It's like this is how I see the world. And sometimes sometimes you use different techniques like hyperbole. Sometimes you're making jokes that pull at races. And you said that while she was funny, she was also saying things that were super racist. The question I have is would it have been racist if you heard someone in the elevator saying it, or was she saying it as like a collective thought? And now I'm not defending anything she said there. Chelsea she really toes the line. And she's mentioned in that conversation all the privilege she's had to get away with things that other people wouldn't have gotten away with. So absolutely, I know she's got a ton of work that's out there, and the kind of question becomes, is it safer that she's got it out there, or is it like, what she's putting it right out there? Does that make it right? Not necessarily. But also, like, every single joke you can analyze and kind of break it down and go, well, what's the truth of the joke here? And if the truth is that it's a racial topic, I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't I'm not defending it or saying that it's right. Boy, we got a lot more to get through. Jeez, here, let me keep going here. I thought I was going to get through all of these right now.
This is Sharon from Miami. Tell Karen to cut the crap. She needs to be educated about racism.
That was amazing. I'm going to just play these and not talk as much.
This is Katie from North Carolina, and I just wanted to say, what up, Big Daddy?
Thank you.
I've been watching all of your stuff regarding The Bachelor, and I stumbled across your Karen comments regarding the one woman from Texas. And I will say I'm also from Texas, so stereotype me how you want. But I don't think she did anything wrong. Her opinion is very valid. I think Rachel is being treated very, very harshly for this stuff. And yes, I personally would never attend a formal like that or anything. But people make mistakes, and that's her past. And yes, she's on a platform where her past is going to be dug up, but honestly, like Chris Harrison said, it wasn't as big of a deal back then. Nobody made a big deal about it like they do now. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's good that they're bringing attention to this matter, but in a way that destroys people's lives. And like for Chris Harrison to have to step down from his show that he's ran for the past however many seasons, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, people need to get a grip. If you're not directly affected by what she did, if her post and her liking her friend's post, like if that does not personally affect you and change your life in a way that will never make it the same again, then you don't need to say anything. You don't need to bully this person and harass this person and make them literally not want to be in this world anymore because they did something that at the time was more appropriate back then. That's just the truth. That's the truth. And that's the problem with a lot of people nowadays. And I hate to use this word, but liberals, they take things and run with it, and it's ridiculous and it's hard. And I think you're taking the Karen situation way too far, and making her out to be somebody that she's not. I don't know. I really do like your content. I support your page, and I support everyone's opinions and everything, but I just wanted to give you another perspective on it because I feel like it's being a little blown out of proportion.
Well, thank you so much for calling. Listen, I really appreciate a lot of the points you made. I will say this on the front. I know you were careful you didn't want to bring this up, but you did, and then you said liberals. You basically said liberals are a problem here. Let's not do that. Let's be real specific and not put people together as this is the problem, that's the problem. Obviously, it can't be productive there. Now, now Karen from Huntsville, Texas. It wasn't that her points weren't necessarily valid, but you provide more of an eloquence to how you speak, and I understand we're not all great at speaking. I totally get it. I will say this: being someone who's not racist doesn't mean I think we're living in a world where we're trying to be anti-racist. Do you know what I mean? So we're trying to say, look, if someone did something wrong, we want them to know that there is a consequence to your actions. I think the conversation between Chris Harrison and Rachel Lindsay would have gone a lot better if they kind of went deeper into what they were trying to say. You know what I mean? While it was 14 minutes long, it probably could have been several hours long, and they could have gotten to better solutions than where they got to. So I think there's a lot of issues with the way that we're absorbing media and taking the bad parts and enlarging them. So I think we could agree on that. I also would say I think I'm way more, and I could be wrong. I have got my own biases here, but I think I'm pretty neutral on this situation where I don't think Rachel Kirkconnell should have her life ruined. She's 23, 24. The problem with a lot of that you're saying is you didn't really address how it feels to be on the other side so much. And you're saying, well, if it doesn't affect you, don't worry about it. That's kind of like the ostrich with the head in the sand. And I think in 2021, we're trying to move past that. I really would appreciate you calling back another time, though. I do appreciate your opinion. And I don't have any stereotypes towards Texas. I mean, I live in California. If you drive 30 minutes in any direction, you're going to get a lot of the same viewpoints as Texas. It's not just Texas is this way. My best friend lives in Texas, Austin. I know it's a little different than Huntsville, but anyway, I can't go on forever because this is running way too long. But call back, bounce your ideas off of me, bounce your way of thinking off of me. But just know the idea that Chris Harrison wanted grace for Rachel Kirkconnell was the big problem. The idea that he spoke more about defending Rachel Kirkconnell than he spoke about the actual issues. I don't think Rachel Kirkconnell's a bad person. I think she's going to do really good things with her platform moving forward. I think by not addressing this for so long, it fanned this outrage that went pretty far. I said this the other day. The wrecking ball got swung at Rachel Kirkconnell, and it went straight through her and hit Chris Harrison in the head. But that's because he didn't handle it right. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it.
I wasn't going to ask anything. This is Michi from Columbus, Ohio.
Hi.
I was going to say that I was listening to Nick Viall's podcast, and he consistently, and so did his assistant, don't remember what to call her, but pretty much they just continue to say, I digress, over and over. And I listen to their podcast all the time, and they never say that. So I'm convinced that Nick Viall is a Dave Neal fan. That's just something I got to say, because it just seemed like too much of a coincidence that now that, you're ramping up, got a lot of followers going, that he happened to start saying, I digress consistently and never heard him say it before. Anyway, great job and handling everything amazing. Thanks.
Well,
Bye.
Thank you so much. You might be onto something. Look, I don't watch his podcast, never claimed to have watched it before. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the facts speak for themselves. Nick Viall is a Dave Neal fan. Thank you so much, Nick. Call in. Okay, I can't play that one. It's 3 minutes long. I got to go to the short ones, guys.
Hi, Dave. This is Karen from Texas. Haha, just kidding. It's Gemma from Alaska. What do you even do on Thursdays? I don't know. This is my first Thursday listening in, and I just popped in because I got off work early. Yeah, just wanted to say hi and hope the move went well. Like the blue background, and have a great day. Catch you later.
That's a funny voicemail. Thank you so much. I can't believe I missed that one. That is very funny.
Hello, Dari. It's Polly from New Jersey. I would just like to know who you want as Bachelorette. I'm rooting for Abigail.
Michelle would be great too. I don't know. Long time watcher. Hope you're doing good in your life. Bye.
Thank you for the call. You said you're from New Jersey, but what is that accent? Where's that accent from? Beautiful accent. Love it.
I just called to say I love you. I just called.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Hi, Dave. I think it's awesome the way that you're trying to understand Mac J.
Oh my gosh, I've got too many. I'm going to have to make a separate one. All right, guys. Let me know if you guys like this. I'm going to end this here. I got to end it. We barely got through half the voicemails. So many voicemails, guys. I had a few more. I had a couple Karen ones I didn't get to. Listen, guys, I got to get out of here. This episode is entirely way too long, but I wanted to share some of your voicemails. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll say this. Look, it's a discussion. It's a discussion where we're trying to move forward. So people say things that I disagree with. As long as we're respectful and having a conversation, that's better than just saying, oh, yeah, you're an ignorant hick from X, Y, and Z. No, we're not doing that, guys. We're having a discussion. I'll try to curate these a little bit better to make them a little snappier. If people do call in, please try to keep it 30 to 40 seconds. I just can't play the 3-minute ones. But anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you want me to play the rest of these from this week, let me know in the comment section, and I'll make another one of these videos. But it's entirely too long. I can't make this any longer. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much. I'll be off doing my move, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.